to go? Okay, we should go ahead and proceed with our EAGI committee hearing this morning. Good morning. And on behalf of the members of the Senate Standing Committee with Executive Appointments and Government Investigation, I would like to welcome everyone. We also like to welcome Governor David M. Apatang's representative, Mr. John Paul Regis, the appointees, elected officials, dignitaries, and members of the general public. I would also like to recognize some of the former elected officials that are here with us today: Senator Teresita Santos and Senator Steve Mesgan. And if I missed anyone, please forgive me. Before we proceed with this public hearing, let me introduce the members of the Standing Committee on Executive Appointment and Government Investigation. To my left is the floor leader of the Senate, Senator Donald M. Manglona, and to my right is the Senate member from the 1st Senatorial District, Senator Ronnie M. Calvo, and joining us online is Senator Manny Gregory Castro, who is in Saipan, joining us remotely. And I would like to also announce a couple of things informatively in the interest of information and some house rules regarding the code of conduct during this public hearing. Today, the members of the Standing Committee of the EAGI are conducting public hearing on the appointment of Honorable Presiding Judge Robert C. Naraja to serve as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands. The public will be invited to comment on whether you support or oppose the appointment of the subject appointees before us this morning. We take your testimony very seriously, and at the same time, please observe minimal noises disrupting the hearing process, and please turn your electronic to silent mode. And let us now begin. This public hearing is now in session. Today is March 19 at 10:31 a.m. in the morning in the Mayor's Office conference room at the Office of the Mayor of Rota. This public hearing regarding the appointment of Honorable Presiding Judge Roberto C. Naraja by Governor David M. Apatang and Lieutenant Governor Dennis James C. Mendiola to serve as your Associate Justice for the CNMI Supreme Court. The purpose of this hearing today is to consider the Governor's nomination to the judiciary of the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands. The Senate is entrusted with constitutional responsibility to provide advice and consent on judicial appointments, and this public hearing is an essential part of fulfilling that duty. Under Article 4, Section 5 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, justice and judges of the Commonwealth courts are appointed by the Governor and are subject to the advice and consent of the Senate. In carrying out the responsibility, the Senate, through the Executive Appointments and Government Investigations Committee, conducts public hearings to review the qualifications, experience, integrity, and temperament of each nominee, and in this case, the nominee this morning, before any recommendation is made to the full Senate. The nomination before the committee today arise as a result of the resignation of former Supreme Court Associate Justice Perry B. Enos. Following that resignation, the Governor has nominated Associate Presiding Judge Robert C. Naraja to serve as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court to fill the vacancy left by Justice Enos. In turn, Associate Judge Joseph N. Camacho has been nominated to fill the presiding judge position and would be vacated. That would be vacated by Judge Naraja if confirmed by the Senate. And Attorney Joey Patrick St. Nicholas has been nominated to fill the associate judge position that would be vacated by Judge Camacho if confirmed by the Senate. As such, these nominations represent a series of appointments within the judiciary that require the Senate's review and consent. Additionally, the conduct of this hearing is guided by the Senate rules and the laws governing the confirmation process, which require transparency, accountability, and the opportunity for public input. These hearings ensure that nominees to the judiciary are carefully and fairly evaluated, and that the Senate's constitutional duty to the people of the Commonwealth is carried out with diligence and respect for the rule of law. Today's proceeding will allow members of the committee to hear testimonies from the nominee, review the professional background, and receive comments from the public and interested stakeholders. Following the hearing and any further deliberation, the committee will determine whether to recommend the nomination to the full Senate. So at this time, Ms. Clarissa D. Sablan will be our legislative assistant assisting the committee today. Mr. Joe Bermudez will be our legal counsel. Mr. Ben Terlahi will be our Senate Sergeant at Arms, and Mr. Jonathan Diaz will be our IT manager, and will serve accordingly for this public hearing. I now recognize Chair Claire Sablan to proceed with roll call for today's public hearing.
Senator Ronnie M. Calvo.
Present.
Senator Manny T. Castro.
Estiga.
Senator Francisco Q. Cruz. Senator Jude U. Hofschneider.
Aggie.
Senator Corina L. Magofnia. Senator Donald M. Manglona.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, we have 4 members present and 2 members absent.
With 4 members present and 2 absent, we have the quorum to proceed with this hearing this morning. And at this time, let the record reflect the Senators Frank Q. Cruz and Senator Corina Magofnia are hereby excused from today's meeting. At this time, do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda for today's public hearing?
So move.
It's been offered by floor leader. Do I hear a second to that motion? Second. Under discussion. Ready? All those in favor of the motion to adopt today's meeting agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Today's meeting agenda is hereby adopted. Now, if there's no objection from the members, I would like to acknowledge and recognize the governor's representative, Mr. John Paul Regis, to address his written or oral testimony to the committee for today's hearing. Please proceed to the, and before you begin, please state your name for the record.
Good morning. Hofday Zatiro, Honorable Acting Chairman Jude U. Hofschneider, and Honorable Senate members of the Executive Appointments and Government Investigations Committee. For the record, my name is Jean Paul B. Regis, Special Assistant for the Administration under the Office of the Governor. On behalf of the Honorable Governor David M. Apateng and the Honorable Lieutenant Governor Dennis James C. Mendiola, I thank you for conducting this public hearing and the opportunity to appear before you today. And if I may, Mr. Acting Chairman, I'd like to extend also undongklong na agradecimiento to the Mayor, the council members, and the residents of Rota for their hospitality and for having us utilize their office facility here in Rota. It is with distinct honor to present the Governor and Lieutenant Governor's nominee, the Honorable Presiding Judge Roberto Naraja, as the Justice, as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court for the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Presiding Judge Naraja is a distinguished jurist and a graduate of the Gonzaga University School of Law, with a judicial career spanning more than 24 years on the CNMI Superior Court bench. He is one of the Commonwealth's most revered and experienced legal authority. Throughout his tenure, Judge Naraja has earned a reputation for maintaining the highest ethical standards of fair and equitable justice. He has an epitome of successfully managing high-volume dockets, engaging on enhancing the operational efficiency of the court system, providing strategic oversight of essential court division, and serves as a dedicated mentor for members of the legal community. His extensive background in overseeing complex criminal and civil litigation, combined with his prior service as Attorney General and Chief Public Defender, uniquely qualifies him to elevate to the Commonwealth's most highest court.
Mr. Regis.
Yes.
Dispensazo, I don't mean to interrupt, but at this time, I respectfully ask the nominee to please join Mr. Regis on Jesus Mosi. Thank you. Let's proceed on, Mr. Regis.
Okay. Governor Apateng and Lieutenant Governor Mindiola place their complete trust and confidence on Presiding Judge Naraja to serve as the next Associate Justice for the Supreme Court of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Judge Naraja stands ready to address any questions and concerns you may have, and we respectfully seek the committee's favorable consideration as we look forward for his confirmation of his appointment. Thank you, Jesus Mosi Zangiliso, for the opportunity to introduce him to the August body, Mr. Chairman, Acting Chairman.
Jesus Mosi, Mr. Regis, thank you for your statement, for introducing our nominee this morning. And before I recognize the appointee to deliver his opening remarks or statements, I respectfully ask that you rise, and we'll recognize Claire Sablon to administer the oath.
Honorable Presiding Judge Roberto C. Naraja, you do solemnly swear, under the penalty of perjury, that the testimony you shall give in the matter at hand shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, PJ, and thank you, Claire. And before I hand the mic over to, or the floor over to the nominee, please allow me to recognize the presence of the Honorable Mayor, Aubrey Okuk. Thank you for joining us, Ms. Mayor, the Chair, Mr. Donovan Lizama, and the members of the Municipal Council, and to all the people of Rota that are here, friends and families. I would be remiss if I don't recognize the Mrs. Naraja and your brother, Jack. Thank you for being here this morning. You know, this is truly an important meeting this morning, so thank you all for being here. So with that, I recognize Presiding Judge Naraja to deliver their opening statements.
Buenos dias and good morning. I am deeply honored to appear before this committee, Standing Committee on Executive Appointment and Government Investigation of the Senate of the 24th Northern Mariana Commonwealth Legislature. Honorable Acting Chair Judaf Snyder, members of this committee, Honorable Senator Donald Manglona, also the floor leader of the Senate, Honorable Senator Manny Castro, Honorable Senator Ronnie Cowell. Good morning. It is my profound honor to be here today as a nominee to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the Northern Mariana Islands. On behalf of myself, my wife Frances, Brother Jack, family, and friends who are here with us today, as well as those who are away, we extend our deepest and sincerest appreciation for holding this hearing on this beautiful island of Rota. We are proud and grateful to be here today in service of the people of Rota. I would also like to acknowledge and give appreciation to Mayor Aubrey Holcock, Chairman of the 20th Rota Municipal Council, Mr. Lizama, Vice Chairman Sandra Musca, Secretary of the Rota Municipal Council, Tilly Tamanyo. Also, I would like to announce the presence of the former Senator, Senator Terry Santos, Senator and Deputy Chief Steve Meskin. Also, I would like to recognize the Senate staff and Mayor staff. Thank you for hosting this hearing here in Rota. Also, I have my staff from the Superior Court, the Deputy Clerk, Delia Cabo Marcinez is present, and also our Marshal Cabrera. For the past 20 years, I have presided and continue to preside over the criminal, juvenile, and traffic dockets, and at times civil and family court dockets here at the Rota Centron Justicia. Throughout this time, I have presided over jury trials, bench trials, arraignments, many other types of judicial proceedings, hearings, and conferences. In my commitment to the rule of law, I pray that I have carried out my duties with humility and fairness, that I have served the community, the people of Rota, with professionalism, kindness, dignity, and respect. I pray that each day and every day that I presided in the People's Central Justicia's courtroom, that I have conducted myself with civility, that I have treated all who appear before the court, be it counsel, clients, witnesses, clerks, jurors, marshals, police officers, and all others, that I treated them with respect, dignity, courtesy, and kindness, regardless of the circumstances or situations. I also pray that I have upheld and will continue to uphold the rule of law, and that I have sought equitable solutions in the many cases that come before me each day, so that our citizenry, the people of Rota, may have the confidence that our judicial system is fair, impartial, and grounded in justice above all else. At the trial court level, I take pride in our solemn duty to ensure that every member of our community receives fair and equal treatment under the law. At the same time, I also recognize the vital importance of our appellate process. If confirmed as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, my duties will include serving as the final interpreter of Commonwealth law. I know how a well-written appellate cases can provide clarity for a trial court judge in resolving complicated legal questions. As this is a young jurisdiction, a trial court judge in the Northern Mariana Islands is more often presented with novel issues of first impression than jurisdictions with centuries of jurisprudence. Under the leadership of the Chief Justice, the Supreme Court bears the responsibility of administering the judiciary and ensuring meaningful access to justice for all the people of the Commonwealth. Our Supreme Court has a duty to uphold the rights of the people as well as enshrined in the Constitution of the Northern Mariana Islands, as well as the rights in the United States Constitution were applicable under the covenant. This duty also includes preserving the indigenous traditions of Chamorro and the Carolinian peoples. As an associate justice, I will play a vital role in fulfilling the responsibility in formulating and revising court rules that govern judicial practice. I will be part of many community outreach programs, such as the moot court competition, law day activities, and other educational initiatives. Through my services as presiding judge, I have seen firsthand how court rules and judicial administration directly affect the trial courts and the individuals who appear before them. In this role, I also serve on the Judiciary Council, which assists in the administration of the judiciary and establishes policies and procedures applicable throughout the court system. This experience has given me a broader perspective of the judiciary as a whole, as well as a deeper understanding of the operational and institutional challenges it faces. It has reinforced my commitment by thoughtful rulemaking, responsible administration, and ensuring that our courts remain fair, accessible, and effective for the people we serve. Thank you, and respectfully, I now submit myself to you for your examinations.
Jesus Mossy, Presiding Judge Naraja. And if you wish to share that testimony to the clerk for record purposes, please do so.
Let me put it in a formal,
Whenever.
and I'll submit later. Thank you. Acting Chair.
So if there's no objection from the members, I would like to now open the floor for public comment for today's meeting. But before I do that, we allow other members of the community. I wish to first recognize the Mayor of Rota, Ms. Aubrey Hoko. Please proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Acting Chairman Hofschneider, Hoffaday, Acting Chairman and members of this body, to our appointee, family, friends, and all present this morning. It is with profound respect for our judicial system and a deep appreciation for his decades of service that I am here to express my full and unreserved support for the nomination of Presiding Judge Roberto C. Naraja to the CNMI Supreme Court. For over 20 years, the municipality of Rota has looked to Judge Naraja as a pillar of the Superior Court. His tenure as presiding judge has been defined by a rare combination of technical mastery and an intuitive understanding of the unique social fabric of our islands. For a community like Rota, judicial stability is not merely a legal preference, it is a necessity for the protection of our lands, our families, and our local commerce. Judge Naraja has consistently demonstrated a commitment to modernization, most notably through e-court initiatives, which has bridged the physical distance between our island and the central courts in Saipan. His elevation to the Supreme Court ensures that the highest bench in the Commonwealth remains anchored by a jurist who possesses an exhaustive institutional memory and a proven record of impartiality. I kindly urge this committee for the swift confirmation of Judge Roberto C. Naraja. His wisdom is the steady hand our Supreme Court requires at this time. Thank you, Sis Mossy, and if I may also just highlight and thank our Associate Justice Perry Enos for his service to the Commonwealth. Thank you, and Sis Mossy.
Sis Mossy, Mayor Hukuk. And at this time, I wish to recognize the chairman or any member of the Rota Municipal Council. Please proceed.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you again. Acting Chairman, Honorable Senator Jude, and Standing Committee, Honorable Senator Donald, Honorable Senator Calvo, again, Honorable Manny Castro, and our appointee, Judge Naraja. Thank you and family for being here. So for the record, my name is Jonovan H. Lizama, Chairman of the Rota Municipal Council. Also, alongside my colleagues, Vice Chairwoman Sandra Masca and Secretary Tilly Taimneo. We express our strong support for the appointment of and confirmation for Judge Robert C. Naraja. Judge Naraja has constantly demonstrated a high level of professionalism, integrity, and dedication to the fair administration of justice within our CNMI, within our Commonwealth. Throughout his career, Judge Naraja has earned the respect of his colleagues and the legal community and the public through his commitment to upholding the rules of law, ensuring that all individuals who come before the court are treated with fairness and impartiality. His extensive experience, sound judgment, and deep understanding of the law makes him well qualified to continue serving in this important capacity. Judge Naraja's dedication to the public service and his steadfast commitment to maintaining the highest standard of judiciary reflects the qualities necessary for effective judicial leadership. His continued service will undoubtedly contribute to maintaining the public confidence in our judicial system. For this reason, we respectfully urge your support and your support of the Senate confirming the appointment of Judge Robert C. Naraja. Thank you for your understanding and consideration for this matter.
Sis Mossy, Chairman Lizama. The floor is still open for any of the members of the council if you wish to deliver in person. Otherwise, now the floor is now open for any member of the general public to offer testimony for today's hearing on the nomination for Associate Justice, Presiding Judge Roberto Naraja. And please state your name for the record before you proceed on. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Buenos dias, Acting Chairman, House Snyder, Floor Leader Manglona, and Honorable Senator Ron Mendiola, and Honorable Senator Manny Castro. Gayigi linyagi otro lugar lo manihitagi espiritu. So dispensa, Mr. Chairman, dan bay fino no ilingwahita dangin sinyan sedit no ratutu the giloeno si Zeus Masi talo no chairman and honorable mayor, thank you for ani Rota essay for convening no gizano introduce Rota nominee pos talo good morning Judge Naraja, thank you for joining us gini no na magaygi gini bonito na dikiki na islata islan no higadbo na islan luta za talwa si Zeus Masi na finatunmizo dan para todo loki manggay gini na publiko ni matistigugo este na hearing para pago na dia mas importante pago na dia gi pago gi egan na nomination gini ni Sanhilo Naguma gobernota David Mapatang dan Lieutenant Governor no segundo na goberno sa Dennis Mendiola na gagi kumpiyansa na para manay si Judge Naraja para gilui uno na pwesto na mababa bakante niya na langkuloki kontribusyon niya dota so si Judge Perry Inos na adjudo niya gi enteramente Marianas loki kintodo gini luta gilueno no gayo gini no dispensa bonti be introduce nano si Steve Mesngon dispensa no chairman ako no ako ni zo todo sti tumakfena didi ni pabiya at namzo ni man gadbo zan no swabi na faso ni manggayam zo gini gilugat talo talwa inano si Steve Mesngon no sudara no ni lugat ta islan luta gilueno dangkulo konfensa ko na hafa gagi gini pago gi minota ni presentay gobyerno zan ni Lieutenant Governor no as Judge Naraja para kahulo za o continua no munay serbisyo pay komunidad ta no ti Marianas kulolonya luta loke nay manggay no naita tsogesti na junta para igwiza o kay gino na posisyon gi para associate judge gayo na sa puputa 100% na gayi konfensa ko amam si associate no ay si Judge Naraja gi season esti opisina i justisya tatungwa kapasilan niya sta mona na ma-introduce na Rota ese gumaygi lo gaygizo na nanay na suportasyon para hamzo ugago por favor kosinya ta explica mas watu gi esti na komite na report watu gi full body gi Senate za talo logi za sinya tranquilo za ahano westi na huesto para watu gi sa Judge Naraja gilueno kayo loki na bay sinya tumaza timpoko gi talwani lo bay na entalwa halom esti loki para idos na guana namin gini sa Judge no Camacho dan si Izota no ibu na appointee gi sa former Attorney General and former Mayor as Joey San Nicolas para Associate Judge dan uno para Presiding Judge Camacho o sosozo loki hamzo da kosinya tana danya esti tres zo umbiaya reporta da sinya begago no Mr. President ay Mr. No Chairman no acting chairman no kosinya ta logisti za continua man matsosti para komunidad ta para todo sedbi nokti Marianas na taw-talo ini manggay no naman manananggal loki pofan majuda ginogi opisina ni justisya za gaygi kapasidad niya utungo na kapas para matsogi tsetsunya talwa no chairman ugago na sinadik zan gusi para istisya tres na nominee ginin i gobernota zan ni Lieutenant Governor tala si Zeus Masi na i-confianza nizo zan buenos dias para todos.
Si Zeus Masi, Mr. Mesngon, currently serving as the Deputy Commissioner for Fire Department. Thank you for your testimony. The floor is still open for any member of our general public to offer their testimony, whether they are in support or they're not in support of the nominee. Please state your name for the record.
Thank you, Acting Chair. For the record, my name is Ivan T. Merib Jr. I'm a voter and resident of San Apollo 1, Doolittle Street, from the beautiful 1st Senatorial 7th Precinct, Luta. A lot has been said, Acting Chairman, about the qualification of Presiding Judge Robert C. Naraja. Allow me to give the human element of the honor. During my long term as a volunteer speech coach for Grace Christian Academy Rota, under the leadership of Pastor Connie Chandler, under the leadership of Ms. Anna Kuna, I met numerous times at our local judiciary with Judge Naraja as he spoke to our students about how to improve their skills, how to better communicate in the courtroom, and always remind yourself to have fun. This was the junior high mock trial competition. Not as favorable as the mock trial competition of the high school, but this is the entry permit for speakers, future orators, and gifted individuals that just need nursing. I'd like to thank, I remind the members of this great committee that in the audience, the former principal of Escuela in San Francisco, Ms. Carmen H. Atalik, is present with us. Her leadership, along with Ms. Connie Acuna's leadership, brought together the first municipal mock trial competition scrimmage between both schools. During this competition, we had an appointed honorary judge that was Aniceto Mundu, and both teams credited their experience by meeting individually or with a group with Judge Naraja. That is the human element given to us at Rota's judiciary. A judge that's not only well-versed in the laws of the land, but is compassionate and serves as a true referee in the courtroom for fairness and peace. Mr. Chairman, it's for these reasons I stand united in support of the Honorable Robert C. Naraja, one of two in this great nominees that are from Gonzaga University. Again, go Spike Lee Bulldogs, and please let's confirm the Honorable. Thank you. Again, for the record, my name is Ivan T. Merritt Jr. I fully support the Governor and Lieutenant Governor's appointee to represent our opening at the CNMI Supreme Court, left by outgoing Associate Justice Perry Inus, a native son of Rota. Jesus Masi.
Jesus Masi, Mr. Ivan Merritt. The floor is still open for any member of the community to offer their testimony. Please state your name for the record.
Thank you. Thank you, Acting Chair, for the Senate EAGI Committee. Welcome to the beautiful island of Rota. You know, it's always nice to see familiar faces here on our island. Of course, I'd like to also acknowledge, the Honorable Floor Leader, who is a member of this EAGI Committee, Honorable Senator Donald Manglona, Honorable Senator Ron Calvo, and joining us online is Honorable Senator Manny Castro. I'd like also to acknowledge the presence of the Legislative Bureau staff, the physical presence of our presiding judge, Presiding PJ Naraja, his wife, and I happen to witness also that we have the presence of our judges who will be heard this afternoon, Attorney J.P. San Nicolas and Judge Joseph Camacho. Acting Chair and members of this august body. Did I mention my name for the record? Yes, I did, no? Okay. So my name is Teresita Apatang Santos, Acting Chair and distinguished members of this august body. It is a privilege to submit this formal letter of support for the nomination of Presiding Judge Robert C. Naraja to the position of Associate Justice of the CNMI Supreme Court. Having observed PJ Naraja's historic career and his profound impact on the Commonwealth judiciary, we are confident that his elevation to the High Court is both well-merited and essential for the continued stability of our legal system. PJ Naraja's qualifications are peerless. With over 2 decades of service as a trial court judge, including his tenure as presiding judge since 2003, he possesses an institutional memory and a technical mastery of Commonwealth laws that few can match. His perspective is uniquely balanced, informed by his previous roles as the CNMI Attorney General and Chief Public Defender, and as a designated judge for the District Court for the Northern Mariana Islands, a position he still serves. This breadth of experience ensures he understands the law from the perspective of the state, the accused, and the impartial arbiter. Throughout his tenure, P.J. Naraja has consistently demonstrated the core of pillars of judicial excellence. One, his unrivaled legal scholarship. His written opinions are characterized by rigorous analysis and a deep respect for both statutory law and the unique cultural fabric of the Northern Mariana Islands. Two, judicial temperament. In the courtroom, he is known for a demeanor that is consistently patient, fair, and decisive. And earlier we heard P.J. Naraja mention just that. He commands respect through his integrity rather than his authority alone. He also put that on record. At third, administrative leadership. As presiding judge, he has successfully managed the complexities of the Superior Court, overseeing its modernization and ensuring the efficient delivery of justice despite the logical challenges inherent to our islands. Our Mayor of Rota had mentioned that earlier. The Supreme Court requires a jurist who not only understands the letter of the law, but also the real-world implications of appellate decisions on the people of the Commonwealth. P.J. Naraja mentioned that. Judge Naraja's or P.J. Naraja's long-standing dedication to public service and his proven commitment to an independent judiciary make him the ideal candidate for this vacancy. We strongly urge the committee to recommend his shift and unanimous confirmation. His presence on the Supreme Court bench will undoubtedly strengthen the rule of law in our Commonwealth for years to come. Acting chair for this committee, I have this written testimony that I will be forwarding to the clerk, but with me, who affixed the signature on this document, I have also 4 other individuals, citizens from our general public of Rota, to name Ms. Carm Hokuk Atalik, Ms. Tita Hokuk, Ms. May Hokuk Calvo, and Ms. Francis Naraja. Francis Barcinas. I'm sorry for that, Mr. Chair. Furthermore, and I like to put this on record, I chanced on meeting Mrs. Daisy Atalik Kirugwa this morning, who asked if I can already inform this august body that she too pledged her full support for the appointment and confirmation of Presiding Judge Naraja to serve as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, that she will be submitting her written testimony soon. Thank you again, Mr. Acting Chairman, and the honorable members of this committee. If you have time, if you're going to extend your day until tomorrow, Saturday, please note that Rota will be celebrating its Gilita Festival, and you're more than welcome to join us in our grounds down there at the Asongso Village. Thank you. And
Mrs. Marcia, Mrs. Santos, the floor is still open for any member of the community or public to offer their testimony. And when if you decide to do so, please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Good morning. For the record, my name is Dean Reno A. Manglona. I am the current Chief of Staff for the Office of the Mayor here in Rota. So I did write a letter and I did prepare it in advance. So, dear Mr. Chairman and to the members of the committee, as our Commonwealth prepares for a significant transition within its highest court, I wish to offer my support for the elevation of the Presiding Judge Roberto C. Naraja to the Supreme Court. Throughout my years in public service here on Rota, I have observed Judge Naraja's career from a perspective of a constituent who values consistency and institutional wisdom. In a small island like Rota, a small island community, the predictability of law is the foundation of our local economy and our social order. Judge Naraja has provided that steadying hand for over 2 decades. His deep roots in the CNMI's legal history, from his early days as a public defender to his long tenure as presiding judge, make him uniquely qualified to sit in our high court. We are at the time where we need justices who understand the why behind the laws as much as the what. Judge Naraja is that jurist. I believe his presence on the Supreme Court will ensure the rights of all residents, especially those of us in the neighboring islands, and that we remain protected by a seasoned and fair-minded leader. Also a special note, as part of the moot court and mock trial, my son was also involved in those programs. So he's already, putting his footprint, into the next generation, which I also appreciate. So I guess my message is, Your Honor, may you please continue to remain firm, fair, and impartial, and you have our full support. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dean Manglona. Please proceed, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Rosita A. Hokuk. I live here in Rota. To you, Acting Chairman, Honorable Senator Jude Huff-Snyder, distinguished Senators Donald Manglona and Ronnie Calvo, and also to our online Senators Manny Castro. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to have us review to you what we feel about the nominee that the Governor and Lieutenant Governor put forward to the EAG committee. I am not in question with his professionalism, his background, his education. I fully support the nominee to move up to the Supreme Court. I think it's about time. And I thank also for the vacancy, but Justice Enos also deserves commendation. And thank you for the vacancy so that the Honorable Judge Naraja will move up. Like I said, I do not question his professionalism, background, or education, because for me, I believe that once confirmed, they take an oath of office, that they swear to enforce their rules and regulations governing the body that they hold. So for me, with that oath, it's sacred to the nominee, and that nominee will not be swayed by any political or any pressure from the community to make their decision. Their decision will be based all on the facts of the law and the case. If anything is in question, there's always a process for appeal, and that goes to the Supreme Court. The only thing that I would kindly request, and maybe the committee and through Judge Naraja, because he's moving up, I know he's gonna move up. He mentioned about the role that he will be taking as far as programs and improvement in the court system. And this is what I ask, that when it comes to recusal, to withdraw to serve as a judge for the sake of a case on the grounds that they are not appropriate person to handle that particular case because of a possible conflict of interest or a lack of impartiality or appearance thereof. That something has to be done, because we've seen it, that a lot of recusal, and that's a lot of expense and delay in the process of finding the results of a court case that is pending. So again, it is really hard in our community, being a small community, that everybody knows everybody. And the issue of being impartial is so difficult. But nonetheless, when we make a commitment with our oath of office to administer impartial justice to all, regardless of status or required by law, sending a standard of judicial results. I will emphasize and underline impartiality, that to administer justice without respect to persons and ensuring equal rights for both the rich and the poor. My trust is in you all as judges, and I am sure that that is upheld by every judge, regardless whether they're in the lower court or in the Supreme Court. So again, I come here in full support of the nominees and for Judge Naraja to take the upper position. And I'm sure you're going to get the confirmation. Thank you so much.
Jesus Masi, Ms. Hokuk. The floor is still open for any member of the public to offer their testimony in reference to the hearing this morning for Associate Justice. Any further? Anyone? If there are no other members of the public wishing to make comments, are you gonna? Oh, there's one more. Please proceed. Please state your name for the record as well.
Good morning, Chairman and members. My name is Eusebio Indiola Manglona, and I'm here in full support of the nominee, PJ Naraja. I have known our PJ Naraja for the longest when I was in DPS, and he's been helping us with whatever questions that needs, and sometimes he gives us educational or lectures during my terms in DPS. So I'm here in support for his confirmation. Thank you very much.
Jesus Masti, Mr. Manglona. The floor is still open for anyone who wishes to offer their testimony. And kindly state your name for the record.
Buenos días para todos. Acting Chairman House Snyder, Zanizomo fellow senators. For the record, my name is Joaquina L. King. Gaigizo pago gwini gemenan mizu para by nai suportasyon para i-nominee as Judge Robert Naraja. No esta bura historianya si i-nominee para na be historia talo sa hafa na leku taigwini manhongizo za manangokuzo na zangin in confirma si Judge Naraja para ogehilo na posisyon manhongizo za nuangoku na sempi hatsogo ititsonya. No talo ha gaigizo gini na usapopota i 100% na itsonya no nominees on confirmation si Judge Robert Naraja ufafaisin hamzo na komite ni senador na por favor na sa didididik kumonfitma si Judge Naraja. Si Zeus Masi, and welcome to our beautiful and friendly island of Rota.
Si Zeus Masi, Señora Jackie Joaquina King. Ipisun testimonyo mababaha para oji malago mas member ni publiko po fan offer comments reference to the hearing before us, the nominee for Associate Justice, currently Presiding Judge Roberto Naraja. There are no other members of the public wishing to make public comments. The public comment portion of today's agenda, I now ask Ms. Claire Sablon to formally acknowledge the written testimonies officially received either in support or opposition to today's appointee or this morning's appointee.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Honorable Presiding Judge Naraja, and members of the general public. In addition to the oral testimonies received today on the executive appointment of Honorable Presiding Judge Roberto C. Naraja to serve as Associate Justice for the Supreme Court of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, please be advised of one written testimony in support of the nominee's appointment from Representative Julie Marie A. Ogo, 24th CNMI House of Representatives. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Assiduous Mosi, Ms. Claire Sablon. At this time, would like to allow the members of the committee to raise any questions or concerns or inquiries with the appointees. And typically, since we are in Luta, the chair would recognize the chair of the respective legislative delegation. And with that, I'm going to follow order. And at this time, I recognize the floor leader of the Senate, Senator, and who is the chair for Rota legislative delegation, Senator Donald Manglona. You're recognized.
Thank you, Acting Chairman. Good morning, Acting Associate Justice Naraja.
Good morning.
Welcome to Rota, and thank you to all the individuals who came out in support of your nomination. But before I proceed and before I begin my questioning, I'd like to take this opportunity to also thank former Justice Enos for his commitment and his contributions to the judiciary, but also to the people of the Commonwealth. Once again, good morning, Justice Naraja. At this time, I just want to maybe start off with some questions in regards to your time as a presiding judge. I know you briefly mentioned your tenure, but I guess how would you summarize your time as a presiding judge in the last over 20 years that you've sat in the bench?
In my tenure as the presiding judge, I've worked together with two Chief Justices, the Chief Justice Miguel de Mapan and now Chief Justice Castro. During Chief Justice de Mapan's tenure as in the Supreme Court, we work closely in making sure that the judiciary runs smoothly. So I would go down to the Chief Justice and find ways to help on the administrative part of the judiciary. That went well. It was Chief Justice de Mapan's tenure where we tried to unify and centralize the administration of this judiciary. We did that. Prior to that, the Supreme Court used to have its own budget submitted. The presiding judge used to have expenditure authority, and it has its own budgetary staffing. So during those time before it was centralized, we would work almost apart, separate from the Supreme Court. When Chief Justice de Mapan and I started to put together a centralized administration, that really helped. And with the coming in of Chief Justice Castro, that even worked much, much better. We had Chief Justice Castro and Justice Manglona, who is pretty acute when it comes to technology. And that was one of the better improvement of the judiciary, the e-courts. And this is all thanks to the Associate Justice Manglona. I really admired his commitment to improve the technology of the judiciary. And right is so anytime that there's any issues in Rota or Tinian, technology would just be next door, a step away from Rota. In either bail hearings, people arrested, we need to address their liberty, and we would take care of that immediately. We'd take care of probate cases. The Superior Court judges would come to Rota and Tinian once a month for criminal matters and civil matters. But in probate cases, we hold probate matters on a weekly basis. So technology is one of the highlight improved development of the judiciary. And I really thank Justice Manglona. The difficult part of presiding judge is the administration of human resources. We have a clerk of courts that has been there for quite a long time. Their salary needs to be improved, and we work hard. I work hard with the Chief Justice and Justice Manglona to see how we can really help our lower level employees. They really are the people that runs the judiciary. And Senator, as you know, the door to the judiciary is the Superior Court, so thousands of cases goes through that door, and we really need a lot of good staffing there. It's just part of my challenge. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you covered some points, but just to add on, like you said, managing the courts, I just want to also take this opportunity to thank you as presiding judge for the decisions you made in assisting the municipality in terms of utilizing some of the offices within the Centro Justicia. That one has saved the municipality a great deal. But now I want to turn my attention to what was brought up during the public comment, and that was the recusal process. I don't know if you were aware, in the past, the legislature had tried to make to limit the process of recusal in terms of trying to bring in outside pro tem judges or justices to preside over these cases. What processes or guidelines do you take before you've made the determination of recusing yourself from hearing certain cases?
The judicial canons, the judiciary code, a lot of precedents that were set throughout the nation. They're really the ethical standard requires a lot of searching and looking at a case whether there is a conflict. There are many type of cases where I would love to sit on, like for example the Seneclas versus Shell and Mobile. I would have loved to sit on that because that is one of the biggest cases. And I always recuse simply because on a daily basis I would go to Shell or Mobile and buy gas. That was it. But that was a ruling that was centered, and I wish I could have. We're now getting a judge pro tem from one to sit in this case, and yes, I would. I don't have any way around the law, the canons, judicial code. It's so strict. Little conflicts requires us to recuse, and one of the witnesses before this body is correct. It delays the cases. It requires all. If I conflicted, it would have to go to the next judge and go through the same process, and that in itself takes about a couple of days. It would go down from me to the next senior and down the line. And when everybody conflicts, then I would need to report that to the Chief Justice, and that's when the Chief Justice would search elsewhere. And the good thing is that we have a very good working relationship with the Guam judiciary. And the only thing that costs us when it comes to helping a judge coming in from Guam to sit as a pro tem is basically the ticket and the room and board. That's it. If we were to appoint a judge pro tem, for example, from Hawaii, that would cost us a lot of money, a lot substantial. We're bound by the code of canons and the code of ethics, and we just have to look at that. I don't know any way around it, but we try to reduce the cost and expense. There are cases that should be, I would love to sit on cases that has to do with our tradition and customs, that is really worth for the CNMI based on historical, but once the party has put forth the claim that there is a conflict, I am bound by the arcanus. Perhaps when I go up to the Supreme Court, I would sit down with the Chief Justice and look at it more closely. Three heads, jurists would really help.
Thank you for your answer in regards to that. I think in terms of the judiciary code of canons and ethics that you've mentioned, is there any flexibility? I know you mentioned that one of the cases that you wanted to preside over was you've recused yourself because of a simple act of being a customer to the establishment. But given the situation we're in, is there any flexibility in that sense, or who gets to determine whether it may be seen as bias or a conflict, and is that something that can be an exemption? Or
if I had, in the case that I mentioned, it was another judge who had to be, where this issue was presented. It wasn't I that decided to recuse my own self. There was a motion. The Los Angeles attorney filed that motion, and so I had another judge make that determination. I think it would be more expensive if I had sat, and then we went through the trial, and then it's appeal, and then they found that I should conflict. Then it would be reversed and go back to the trial level again and start over. So we weighed all of those. I think being very transparent, and then again having another judge make the determination help us save from that point of view. Had I sat on, it would probably cost us more, and it would probably delay more. So there's that other impact.
okay, thank you for that. Now I want to ask about, maybe can you describe a time, or maybe a couple of times you've had your rulings reversed by the Supreme Court, and how has that shaped your role in other cases that preceded that?
Well, as I sat down with the Chief Justice just recently, we mentioned this remarks that there's always life after reverse. When it comes to trying a case, a judge would sit in front of the parties, and we would have to make rulings immediately, evidentiary rulings. This is during trial. But then even before a trial, there are a lot of motions being filed. And it has to do with the legal interpretation of certain part of an action that's applied to a law. So at I kind of lost my thought. But the rulings we do as trial judges are instantly right on our toes, and we have to execute those rulings right away so that the trial will move on. And in those kind of cases, that's where, when it comes to evidentiary ruling, that's where the Supreme Court with 3 justices has a better look at looking at the records. So there's some civil cases where I was reversed simply because, for example, in a criminal case, I was reversed because it's a motion to reduce sentencing, and in making my ruling, I applied so many factors in denying the reduction of sentence. When it went up to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court said that I don't need to apply those factors. So basically, I guess I was being over protective in making sure that the arguments are all considered. But according to the rule, I didn't have to go that far. That's one ruling. Another ruling in the civil matter was basically, and it's just recently been remanded, the application of damages. Many counsel parties, when they come in front of the judges in civil matters regarding breach of contract or leases, the damages are the burden of a party to show the receipts and provide basis for those damages. In this recent case that I had, there were parties who came in and developed a land lease and developed the building. They spent so much money and they simply just provide their testimony as to how much they cost. So I kind of moved to finding based on their testimony, but the Supreme Court has said you need to have professional expert when it's coming in to say just how much a door would cost to replace, or a window to be replaced. And that's one of the overturned that I had, so I have to come back and have another hearing and basically ask the party to show me the receipts. There's always life after I've been reversed. So it's really good to look at the analysis that the justices, the Supreme Court has made and learn from that. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your response to that question. I guess one thing that I do want to bring up is that this is the first out of possibly 3 hearings that we'll have before the Senate acts on your confirmation. We did receive notice from the Bar Association that the evaluations will be out next week, so I hope that whether on Tinian or on Saipan, that's something that we could also address. But in the meantime, I do want to, again, thank you for your contributions, not just to the judiciary system, but to our islands, especially Rota. One thing I do want to ask, whether you maintain your seat as presiding judge or move up to the Supreme Court, that should programs like the Justices in the Classroom or mock trial continue throughout the years, if you can provide additional support to our people here in Rota in terms of trying to provide more opportunities for our people to sit in on hearings or cases, just to better understand the judicial system. I want to say that I'm extremely proud of how our students have performed in the past 2 years in the mock trial, coming in 2nd place, and that's given the fact that we don't have a lawyer on island. We our students train through video conference, whereas their counterparts, they have access to lawyers on a daily basis. And so they've done extremely well in these past 2 years. And hopefully with your support and with the judiciary's support in providing more access to our students, we can hopefully take the championship one day, or you know, allow for our students to be more exposed. And that also brings me to the point of the pre-law program. How can we also help and assist our students here on Rota to be able to enroll in the pre-law program? I know my brother is one product of the pre-law program, and you know, he eventually became to be a lawyer. And so those are some of the things that we lack here, but with more exposure, hopefully we can see our students venture into that legal space. And
Can I expand on that?
sure.
When I was the Attorney General back in the 1990s, I was hiring a lot of lawyers from abroad. And I had 20 lawyers, but they were all from the mainland. And I was looking at all the lawyers that I had, and I said, where are the local lawyers? So that was the time where I sat down with the governor, and I said, Governor, I'm going to do a pre-law program. I used my operational funding at the AG's office. I used the MIA housing to provide housing for the prospective professors that are coming in from New Mexico and Chile. There was a professor named Bronson. So that was the first pre-law program that I put. I created a steering committee made up of the late Jess Mofnas, who was the civil service officer then, so that by having it in the steering committee, that would allow all government employees to take educational leave and take on the pre-law. So that was good. I also made the 3 steering committee members was also the president of the Northern Marianas College. And the reason for that was to provide a classroom for the pre-law program. And the third one was the late Justice Villagomez to give a judicial touch into the pre-law. I used my professional account, bring in Judge Munson, and that's how I assigned one Assistant Attorney General to coordinate all this program. So that started with that administration during Governor Guerrero. For 2 years, we did the pre-law, and then at that point in time, the governor asked me, can we look at other type of programs? And we were entertaining a pre-medical program. I was working with Dr. Chong, Assistant Pete Ontalan, and Nella Riola, and we were putting it together. We faced a lot of hurdles because of the federal law, but we were working toward that, but the governor didn't get reelected, so that program kind of stopped. So there's a lot of programs. When I first became an associate judge, I did what we call the juvenile court in the classroom. And what I've done is I use a rope. I had somebody made a rope, and I go to each of the 3rd grade classes, and we all do a pre-scripted pre-law, mock trial. So all the students will be, one of them will be a judge, another will be a prosecutor, a witness, a defense counsel, and we do this. We were doing that in the numerous elementary school in Saipan. I plan to reactivate that. I want to come to Rota also and do those kind of type of programs, and throughout also Tinian and perhaps also many of the elementary school in the CNMI and Saipan. And with Chief Justice's stamp on it, I'll try to work on that too.
Thank you. Thank you again for that. Again, that's something I wanted to bring up, and so that we can shape the minds of our youth today in hopes that we bring back a lot of these talent to the CNMI, as we've seen a lot of the turnover rates within the AG's office, public defenders, and maybe even the judiciary. But if we get our locals to go out and get their degree and pass the bar, come back to the CNMI, and representation within the legal community.
I wholly support that.
Thank you. Again, I just wanted to bring up some of these foundational questions. We are going to hear you in Tinian as well, so I'll reserve some questions for Tinian as well as Saipan. But I do want to, again, just point out the fact that with the support that we've heard from our municipal leaders as well as the people who have provided their comments here today, in addition to, I've just gone over the election results these past three retention election where you've been up for retention and your approval rates, I assume based off of what the public has voted on, has increased significantly from as far back as 2007, right? From 68 to 80 to 84. And so I hope that as we continue our hearings with Tinian and Rota, we hope to hear more of how our people feel of the way you've managed as presiding judge and what you will bring to the Supreme Court if confirmed. And so with that, again, I thank you for your time and your responses today, and I'll see you again soon on Tinian. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Floor Leader Manglona. And at this time, I wish to recognize Senator Manny Castro, who is appearing or joining us this morning online. So recognize, Senator.
Good morning, Senator.
Thank you, Chairman. And thank you to the Rota community for all the statements made earlier. I have a few questions, but first I just wanted to commend Judge Naraja on his emergent leadership with the example that was mentioned earlier in regards to the pre-law program and helping more of our local people get the skills they need to go into the profession. You know, that is exactly the type of leadership we need in this kind of economy. To even start a program like that, you know, a lot of excuses will come up. It's like, oh, the costs, it's not possible. But you saw a way to feed three birds with, you know, one seed. You know, that's the kind of emergent leadership that we really need in these trying times. One question I did want to ask, but before I get to that, I also wanted to commend the judiciary staff as someone that worked with records management and majored in efficiency and organizational behavior. I've seen how the process has transformed, especially in the records office, in regards to, you know, now with the technology that has been implemented, it just makes the whole process easier for certain cases when it comes to land. And so I'm really glad that we have, just in the example that you presented earlier, one of the biggest responsibilities is going to be policy development and, you know, chairing rules and ensuring justice, managing court policies. So just as speaking from someone who's received services, I've seen how the court has transformed, and I've seen, you know, how it's moving forward in terms of technology and customer experience. The question that I wanted to ask, what is your assessment of the delays at the appellate level, and what concrete reforms will you implement to ensure timely decisions?
So this is an area that I will be entering once confirmed, if I'm confirmed. I started working with one of the law clerks for the Supreme Court because the Chief Justice has asked me to sit as a pro temp, and we've selected about 5 cases where I'll be sitting. So I started working with the law clerk to learn the ins and outs of the appellate process. When a case is appealed, the entire records goes up, depending on what the issue is. So one of the tools that needs to be improved is transcribing these records. Long time ago, when our technology wasn't that as refined as and improved as today, we would look for a transcription professional to go out and transcribe these records. Those were the part of the delay. The other delay is when in a trial, when the parties are of foreign origin, and we would need interpreters in Chinese, Filipinos, Koreans. Those would prolong the trial, and then if appeal, then a lot of the transcription again would be 3 times as much work to be, that would cause the delay. At the Supreme Court level, I would have to rely on Chief Justice Castro in streamlining cases. If I were sitting and if confirmed, the moment a case is appealed, I would really start looking to the records. If the case is assigned as the lead justice, I believe there is a system up at the Supreme Court where if a case is filed, there will be first a determination when there's any conflict, and if there's no conflict, then a justice would be assigned to take a lead of a case. And then not only that, there are 3 law clerks, and then these 3 law clerks would help the lead justice in researching and dissecting all the issues that are on appeal. The delay at times would be when the law clerks are separated from the judiciary, and so we would have to bring in other law clerks, and that would take time. I'm sure that Chief Justice Castro has a way to take care of that issue as well, so that would hopefully cut down. Some of the delays are basically from the parties when they ask for extension of time, when they need to look into more records, and they sometimes will ask the justices for leave to explore, ask for more part of the record, because when a case is appealed, depending on the issue, certain records are only transcribed. The delay is when a party wants more part of the record, so that is something that we would like to look into. Honestly, Senator, I have not really sat on as a justice program. As a presiding judge, I take on all these civil complex cases, so I really concentrated on the lower level, making sure that we dispose of these cases. I also took on a administrative appeal cases, and in administrative appeal cases, these are all time sensitive. So in all honesty, Senator, my time as a justice program was very limited because I need to concentrate on the trial level. I'm sorry I couldn't give you more answers in how to take care of some of your concern regarding the appellate level.
It's okay. Thank you for your response. My second question is, it's more about constitutional authority and separation of powers. How should the Supreme Court act when the executive branch refuses to implement laws passed by the legislature?
Can you repeat the question again, Senator?
How should the Supreme Court act when the executive branch refuses to implement laws passed by the legislature?
So, like any other case, someone has to bring the matter before the court. Who would do that? It would have to, now we have an independent Attorney General. I hope that the Attorney General will be the entity to bring that, but then there's also taxpayers' interests. So there may be a way there where a private entity can bring issues of this sort. When it comes to taxpayers' lawsuit, that would be a way to bring a matter that the executive branch, if the allegation is that it fails to do its constitutional duties, that would be that would be a way to bring it before the Supreme Court. Of course, we have the constitutional issues where you represent a constitutional question before the Supreme Court that requires two parties. I think recently there's one question that is being presented by the Attorney General and the House, I believe. It's a question of a municipal law, I believe. So, so that's how the case was brought before the Supreme Court. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you so much. And the final question, and at the same time, I know there's issues that we may have to deal on our side, but from your perspective and your branch of government, as one that went through the process, not completely, but a lot of families are going through the probate process. In your opinion, what are some of the reforms that, if needed, can be made to help this process, given the fact that a lot of our families are economically disadvantaged? And where do you see most of the challenges is? Because we see, the process can take a while. People pass away. But how can we, in what way can we improve the system so that those challenges don't, the land doesn't become idle, or how can we help our people better?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. The Micronesian Legal Service is one entity with the Marianas Legal Service. We have attorneys, an office that is available for indigent clients to come in and ask for legal assistance. I think if we were to give, I'm not sure whether we are providing them funding. I know it's coming from the federal system, the Micronesian providing funding for the operation of the Micronesian Legal Services, which is all over the the Micronesian Islands, including the CNMI. I'm not certain whether the CNMI government provides funding for the Marianas office. I don't know how many attorneys are in there. I haven't really visited whether they are taking those type of cases, but to make an offer, I would recommend that we look at the Public Defender's Office. We should also, the Public Defender's Office is was basically defending criminal, defendants who are charged criminally. Long time ago, the Public Defender's Office was tasked to do certain family court cases. Depending on your legislative commitment, maybe we can provide a division at the Public Defender's Office to handle indigent defendants on probate matters, land matters. I'm not sure, but that could be one way. It takes, I remember when it comes to probate cases, sometimes there are generations of ancestors that passed away, and so one case would probably requires 4 types of probate because of each of the generation that has passed away. Family are fightings. So providing the legal service would be the way to alleviate and help the people, but that would mean providing funding where a lawyer can be made available. But we do have in the bar, the legal practice, lawyers who can come in and provide free time pro bono. I'm not sure whether there's any private counsel who has taken pro bono on probate because they are so complex, and there may be generations of line of the family that needs to be probated at one time. I know that I've known some cases because it relates to my family in Soroki, but there's got to be a way to provide funding, perhaps creating a division at the Public Defender's Office or working with the Emirates Legal Service. Also, at the Public Defender's Office in Guam, they have what they call a alternate public defender. So there's 2 public defenders offices in Guam, one created by statute, and the alternate public defender is created by, I believe, judicial rule, and that's how they managed to have 2 entities defending the indigent. But that may be a way, Senator, to look into the Public Defender's Office.